All right, so welcome back. We are in the land called systems of equations and inequalities. So a system just means more than one. And then so you're saying I'm dealing with more than one equation. Yeah, we're dealing with more than one equation and we see how they interact algebraically and graphically. Today our big focus is going to be graphically. Ms. Johnson, you let us use Desmos all the time. So how are you going to test us on this? I can ask you how to graph something, and if your only way of graphing is plugging it into Desmos, you're not going to be able to describe this, and therefore it might hurt your test. Okay. Okay. So the lesson is called Too Big or Not Too Big. That is the question. The jumpstart is find at least 5 coordinate pairs that make the following inequality true. So go ahead and do that really quick. Find 5 pairs, an X and a Y, that would make this true. Here, I'll start you off. I'll go with 0, 0. Favorite numbers to plug in, because 0 times 2 is 0, plus 4 times 0 is 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0, and 0 is less than 20. Check. Can you find me, can you please find me 4 more pairs? I know, right? He is. Why does this look different? Oh. So you guys are finding 5 more pairs. Okay, so a bunch of you sent me a bunch of numbers or points that you said work. Someone said 1 1, someone said 1 2, someone said 2 1, someone said 2 2, 3 2, 2 3. I'm going to go with negatives because, hey, look, if you want me to be less than 20, I know negatives will do my job. Right? So I'll go -3, -7. Don't even need to check it. I don't even need to do it. Right? Whenever you're doing math work and you're checking things, good numbers to check will always be zeros, fractions and decimals, and negatives. So I'm going to try fractions too. I'll go 1/2, 1/2. So half of 2 is 1, half of 4 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 is less than 20, check, right? So go through a bunch of them, make sure that you guys are comfortable with them, and that works. So when you're looking at this, since all of these numbers are solutions, you should be like, whoa, that's weird. All of these could possibly be solutions. All of these could possibly be solutions to this one inequality. So yeah, we're definitely in the land of inequalities and not equations. Equations mean I have one solution, right? One and only one solution. Okay. It says represent each of the following statements algebraically using an inequality symbol and variables to represent the quantities described in the problems. Quantity means number, the numbers. Okay. Remember to define the meaning of the variables you use in your inequalities. This is a classic math thing because math doesn't come to us looking like this. Okay. The math in the real world never looks like this. Math in the real world looks like word problems. Okay. So it'll cost at least $50 to purchase 2 different video games for the evening activity. So I'm going to do this one with you. Okay. So it says it will cost at least $50 to purchase 2 different video games for the evening activity. So the very first thing, I don't know about you guys, but the very first thing that I do is I tend to write what my variables are. Okay. So what are my variables in this case? What are my variables in this case? Okay, we can say X, but what does X mean? What don't I know? So if you're wondering what my variable is, it's always going to be what I don't know. It's not the 2 video games. It's the something of the video games. Yeah, it's the price. Good. Price of video game. Now you're going to get 2 different video games, right? Are they going to cost the same amount? No. So why is the price of the other video game? Does that make sense? Okay. So now we can write our inequality or equation, whatever you want to call it. So it says it will cost at least $50 to purchase 2 different video games for the evening activity. For those of you who like this, the words at least confuse you, they confuse me too. I start writing the numbers of prices that make sense for this problem. So if it's at least $50 to purchase, what are some possibilities of how much it's going to cost? What are some possibilities that it's going to cost? Give me some possible solutions. No, give me 2 prices. Sorry, the total price, right? My bad. Give me the total price for the video games. Yeah, someone says $55, Miss Johnson, or $78, Miss Johnson, or someone said $110, Miss Johnson. Dude, I have issues with spending money. I could tell because I'm like, ew, why would you spend that much money on it? Do you guys spend that much money on your video games? Please say no. 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 Just kidding. All right. Very good. So yes, those are all possibilities. So when I write my 50 on one side, right? When I write the 50 on one side, I know it could be equal to because it says at least $50. Which way does the symbol go? Less than or greater than? Which way does your symbol go? Less than or greater than? Very good. It has to be greater than. Can you like take 2 seconds and figure out why that's true? Can you take 2 seconds to figure out why is that true? Why does it have to be less? Why does it have to be greater than or equal to? Why can't it be less than? Yeah, because it says at least 50. All these numbers that you gave me, I should be able to take one. I can't plop it in there. I'm sorry. I should be able to take one of these numbers, right? Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to manipulate my screen. I should be able to take one of these numbers and drag it over here. I don't know if it's going to drag over or not. Let's see. And be like, hey, is that true? Since you guys said that $110 is a possibility, is this a true sentence? Is 110 greater than or equal to 50? And you guys would all say, yeah, Miss Johnson. So guess what? I'm going to leave it right there. Okay. So then what goes on the other side? What goes on this left side? What goes here? What goes here? What am I doing? And then saying that it has to be greater than or equal to 50. What am I doing?
Adding x plus y.
X plus y. Okay, so before you even say, oh, she got it right. No, she didn't. Like, think about it. Why would she add x plus y and make it greater than? Like, why is she adding? Why is she putting x there? Why is she putting y there? Like, don't just believe people just because they're telling you. And don't just believe people just because, that's her and she knows what she's doing. Like, legit think about why that actually makes sense.
May I give my reasoning?
Sure.
X and y are the variables that we use to represent the video game, right? So I use x for video game 1 and y for video game 2. That's how I thought of it. And then it has to be greater than or equal to 50 because that's what it states, at least 50. And then we're adding because we are buying 2 games.
Yeah. And then that's what you guys told me earlier. A bunch of you, when I said, give me some possibilities, some of you wrote 20 plus 30, right? You said 20 was going to be one price of the other one, 30 is going to be the other. That's a legit possibility, right? Video games don't cost the same amount of money, right? Because one is more popular than the other, or maybe they, threw more money into the production of that video, then it's going to be that, right? So perfectly explained. If you didn't understand what she said, go back and watch the video again. Rewind, test yourself to see if that actually makes sense. So now you're going to do the second one. It says, we expect at most 60 children and adults will attend the family reunion. Okay. So we expect at most 60 children and adults will attend the family reunion. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to start off with labeling your variables. And it's okay to use, like, I didn't have to use X and Y. I could have used like V and W or V and G. I don't know. I could have been like, I don't know. I don't even know a popular game right now, so I'm not even going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. But it could be like V for video game and P for price of the other video game. It doesn't matter. So for number 3, I need you to, number 1, label out your variables. And number 2, write me an inequality that makes sense. Then what I want you to do is come up with possibilities and see if it makes sense. So with your possibility of 20 plus 30, do you see how that inequality holds true? Because 20 plus 30 is greater than or equal to 50. That's a true statement, right? If each game was $100, that would still be a true statement. Okay, so go ahead and try that. So hopefully you got through some of this, and some of this that I'm talking about is you labeled your variables. I used C for children, and I'm going to be technical. I'm not going to write children. I'm going to put the number of children. So something that you have to learn that I'm going over with my integrated 2 students is your variables will mean something. The more specific you are in what your variable means, the better it is for you to understand. So if you put C as children, it's like C is representing the actual human little children, right? But if I put C as the number of children, it's not representing the little humans, it's representing a quantity, like the number of, right? Okay, and then I put A is the number of adults. Okay. All right, moving on. So we expect at most 60 children and adults will attend. Okay, so here's my equation. I'm going to put 60, and then I'm going to ask you guys, if we expect at most 60, what kinds of numbers should we be expecting? Like, what are the numbers that they are expecting? What kinds of numbers are they expecting? Give me some examples in the chat. Yeah, 37, sure. 25, sure. Oh, someone said 37 and 25. Wait, let me see. Wait, not 37 and 25. Oh, I see what you're saying. You were saying those separately. My bad. Okay. Someone put 60 million. 6 billion. I can't count my zeros. 60 million. Are we expecting 60 million? Everyone says no, right? At most. So the place that you see at most is whenever you go to like a restaurant. Somewhere in that restaurant is always posted the capacity, meaning no more than this many people in here. Very good. Someone said 45. Yes, yes. Very good. Very good. Very good. What else do we got? Very good. So all of those are good choices. So I know it's going to be equal to again, but which way? I know someone said 1. Exactly. So which way is our symbol? Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. I know this looks weird, but this is how I show you. Look, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Good. So which one? Yes, very good. Someone says less than, Miss Johnson. Very good, very good. And if you don't know why, take any of those numbers and stick them next to 60. Is 37 less than 60? And you guys are like, yeah, it is. 60 also works in this case. So again, what would you put on the left-hand side? People say, Miss Johnson, A plus C, then we're good. So what we're really practicing here is which symbol goes. I'm giving you practical measures on how to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to use some examples like I used here. And then you're going to try some numbers and see if that works. All right, last one. No more than 30 minutes should be spent preparing breakfast and lunch. No more than. No more than 30 minutes should be prepared breakfast and lunch. All right, I'm going to put B for breakfast. Oops, I'm in highlighter mode. B for breakfast, L for lunch. I always make my L a cursive L because otherwise it looks like a 1. I know. That's why I do that. Very good. So tell me what B means. Tell me what L means. Be as specific as you can. Please don't write the word breakfast because technically I would mark you wrong. I would mark you wrong. Then what I want you to do is come over here and tell me about 30. what symbol will go with 30? So then I want you to ask yourself, okay, well, what would be a good number of minutes to spend? If it's no more than 30 minutes, what numbers of minutes is good right there? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 seconds while I scroll through our chat and give people some points. Ooh, nice. Very, very good. I see that some people are already learning this because they're getting it. Yes. Very good. Very, very good. So hopefully it's helping you when you guys are putting stuff in the chat. I'm noticing that there's a couple more people that are more comfortable with putting stuff in the chat. That's really good. The chat feature is like one of the best things I think in terms of Virtual Academy, just because you can slide me your answers without anybody else knowing that you did, that you had a question, that you were wrong, any of those things. Because I certainly wasn't able to do that in my class. Like I had, like everyone knew that I was wrong. Everyone knew that I was right. Everybody knew. All right, let's move on. All right, so if you wrote breakfast, you're wrong. I'm going to be super specific here. B is the number of minutes to prep breakfast. Sorry, we're going with shorthand because I want to. Same thing, L, minutes to prepare lunch. Hopefully you can understand my chicken scratch. We get a little messy whenever we're trying to write fast. Okay, no more than. Someone said, Miss Johnson, the one that I want to use is I want to use less than or equal to. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that it's less than or equal to? Yes? No? I don't think so. Yes, very good. Why does it have to be that? Because they said no more than. So I could spend 10 minutes prepping both of those together, and then I'd be following, this condition. So this is B plus L is less than or equal to 30. Everybody okay with this? Okay, good. Let's move on. Let's move it. The last one says the cost for a morning and afternoon snack should not exceed $10. Should not exceed $10. Should not exceed $10. I think I'm going to type this one because I'm tired of writing. I know, I get tired of writing. Let's type. I'm going to go M for morning. Oh, no, it's a capital. I don't want capital. There it goes. And then A for afternoon. It's going to make this a tad bigger so that you guys can see. Okay, what does A and M stand for? And then over here, I have my $10. If it's $10 and they want me to, what does it say? Not exceed $10. No, not yet. I need everybody on here getting this in. So this is practice that we need to get in. All right, go ahead. What did you get?
Me. Oh, okay, thank you. M stands for the cost of morning, and A stands for the cost of afternoon.
Good.
Snack.
Cost.
And they should be less than or equal to 10 because they can be $10, but they can't be 12 or 11.
Very good. So she said this has to be less than or equal to, and it's M plus A, right? So very good. Very, very good explanation. So by the end of today, which we don't have very much time because we're running a little bit behind, it says we should be able to graph the solution set for linear inequalities in two variables. Okay. So when we're doing these types of problems, your biggest thing here is going to be writing your inequalities, which is why we spent so much time doing that. So it says, as Carlos is considering the amount of money available for purchasing cat pens and dog runs, we're still on this whole like them taking care of cats and dogs, right? He realizes that his father's suggestion of boarding the same number of each, perhaps 12 cats and 12 dogs, may not be reasonable. Why not? So startup costs for Carlos and Clarita, they plan to spend 1,280. This is still information that we had from before. The cat pen costs $32. The dog run costs $80. It says find at least 5 more combinations of cats and dogs that would be too big based on this startup constraint. Plot each of these combinations as points on a coordinate grid using the same color for each point. So we're going to be doing that. So I need you to find, actually here, sorry. I need you to find 5 sets that are too big. So am I looking for 5 sets that meet the constraints, or am I finding 5 sets that don't meet the constraints? Yeah, very good. That don't meet it, right? So you can, I mean, I don't know. But do ones that are doable for me to graph so that I can actually see them. So as soon as you have one that doesn't work, how many dogs per dog run? Oh, one. So you're going to make the assumption, good question. You're going to make the assumption that each dog run and each cat pen can only hold one animal because otherwise they'd be fighting. You don't want to hand people back their animals and they're all like bitten up and chewed up. So find at least 5 more combinations of cats and dogs that would be too big based on this startup constraint. All right, start sending me some constraints there. Oops. I wanted my Desmos. There you go. What do you guys think? So for sure they said 12 and 12 don't work, right? Good. Yeah, someone said 20 and 10 don't work. Good. Sorry, I guess I should say X is my cats and Y is my dogs. Okay, and if you look here, there's where my 2 points are. Someone said 5 and 19. Let's see. I'm going to check that really quick. So 5 times 32 plus 19. Oops. Plus 19 times 80. Yeah, that's too much money, right? That's too big. Woo, that's too big, right? So 5 and 19 don't work. Do you guys all see a pattern? Does anybody see a pattern? Like I bet you if I chose a point like right, I don't know, 2020. Do you see where 2020 is? Like right here, 2020. Do you think that's going to work or no? Yeah, 2020 is not going to work. Yeah, if 1212 doesn't work, 2020 doesn't work, right? Someone said 20 and 4 won't work. Let's see. I'm just going to check using this 20 and 4. 20 and 4 actually does work for the money constraint. So this is where I'm actually going to pause it. We're in a good place and we're going to continue this next time.